Hey, I'm Fuji, and today we're going to be going through some of my handheld consoles that I've gotten more recently and some that I grew up with and had over the years. I'm excited to show you this. I only started collecting more recently, but I'm happy to be collecting because I'm just looking at all of the things I have on the table here and they bring me such joy. Let's get into it. So I'm going to start with the oldest console that I have, which is the Nintendo Game Boy, which is cute. It turns on, it still works. I did order a new faceplate for this, but unfortunately it broke in the mail. So I'm waiting for a new one, but I got this from Japan actually. And check this out. I got these USB-C rechargeable AA batteries. Lifesaver, so it's like having rechargeable batteries in here. Now it doesn't end with this one because we also have a better quality looking Game Boy. So this like actually has a screen on it. It does turn on, but it doesn't have a serial number. So it's almost like I need to combine both of these into one. Next in line, I found this at a garage sale and it's super cute. It's a Game Boy Pocket. Crazy part is when I ordered this, I didn't know. Apparently there's a contrast slider on the right side. So essentially I picked it up and I was like, oh great, I just bought a broken thing for 20, 30 bucks. But it turns out if you just flip the contrast slider, you can see what's on the screen. So this was fun, and it's kind of like the level up of the Game Boy. And then leveling up from that would be the Game Boy Color. By this point, we're in like 1998. I decided to go for a clear moment. The speaker on this one, actually, yeah, I don't think it even... Sometimes she goes, sometimes she doesn't. But there is 100% no audio on here. There's no like contrast rocker or anything, but they did start to introduce the IR blaster. So I guess somewhere in between these is where the Pocket Pikachu got released. I guess Pikachu went back into his hole. He's pissed off at me because I haven't used this in a bit. This is just a Poke pedometer essentially with Pikachu that shows little cute animations. I think it fits somewhere here. Now, in terms of a pairing, I got a Pocket Pikachu Color and a Game Boy Color, and they're both with that clear, transparent moment happening. So, and these can IR to each other, which is cool. So I can like make steps on here. Oh, look, he's playing the hula hoop. And then send over gifts to Pokemon Gold, Crystal, and Silver. So, I think that's where we're at right now. It's a Pokemon Game Boy Color. We do have the back to this. It just connects to a battery adapter. So usually if I'm playing it, I can plug it in to the wall and keep playing. I definitely like the color scheme of this, so you're gonna see that later on I do pick up another console in this front yellow color. Let's pop into the new generation of Game Boys and essentially what I grew up with. Starting with my Game Boy Advanced. I love this. Beautiful. This I got custom made by Boxy Pixel, and you can see the logo right on the back here. It's got USB-C charging, a rechargeable battery in here so I don't have to take a back plate off. Then there's like an anodized steel or aluminum, so it's kind of got a bit of weight, but the backlit screen is really nice. This was kind of the introduction to me wanting to collect them all. That's kind of what started my addiction. Yay. The next Game Boy Advance that I picked up was a transparent pink Game Boy Advanced. This doesn't have any cool specs to it. This is just an original because I figured if I was going to have a modded one, I'd like to have one that is original and of its time. What actually made me buy this was I was going on a antique road show, and the week before I was going through old magazine. It's Sabrina the Teenage Witch with a Game Boy Advanced that was pink, and I was like, that's super cute. I wish we had translucent pink cute tech like we used to. And sure enough, I saw the exact same one that weekend. Next up is a set of Game Boy Advanced SPs that I have here. This one is an original. Still turns on. The battery doesn't last as long as it used to, but that feeling is still there. And this one is a reshelling of my old one. Is an AGS 001, and this one is an AGS 101. So you can see that the background is much more clear compared to it. Next up is Nintendo DS. Obviously you can see it's been through the ringer. This I picked up because it was only a couple dollars in Japan. This isn't the original one I grew up with. I thought it would be cool just in case to kind of have, and you can see that theme with all my other consoles, is to have two of each in case I wanted to do any trading or something. There was something about how cute this person's stickers were. There was a lot of love to it. I don't know, someone's childhood memories are on here, and it makes me nostalgic for a DS that I never grew up with. Now, on the note of growing up with DSs, this is not the DS that I grew up with, but this is the DS that I had. So when it first got released, this was a special limited edition color, and I got it for my birthday. Oh, look at it. So cool. What happened was the screen died on it. I sent it for warranty, and they sent me back silver because we didn't have this color anymore because it was limited edition. Being able to pick up a NDS that was the color that I grew up with and I spent so many hours on, I don't know, it really struck a chord with me. And even though this one isn't mine, I love it as though it was. Now enter the DSi. This was a really fun era because they started to put SD cards in. I don't have one in here right now, but the colors that they came out with are so fun and so visually attractive. And check it out, they put the stylus in such a good spot. Boom. Got it. Now this one I bought, they said it was broken, but they just didn't hold the power button on for long enough. And the camera still works. I think it's fun too. Oh look, we can put it on Facebook. That's how old this is. Can you imagine that the youth were using Facebook at the time? Ew. Because I did buy this in Japan and it had the camera, I was able to photograph some of the things that I did in Japan. And so this has a very nostalgic feeling. Now outside of the DS realm and into the 3DS is my original Legend of Zelda 3DS. Now this one took some damage over the years. It's got an SD card in it. I lost the original pen, so I've got this stylus instead. I don't like that they went back to putting this up at the top. Interestingly enough, there is an IR blaster, but it wasn't for Pokemon Gold or Silver or any of those old games that had IR back in the Pokemon Color day. Instead, it was just to share amiibos. The screen started to yellow, so this is more like a timepiece. I really don't play this because I do have the new Nintendo 3DS XL, and that is like that's my child. That's my pride and joy. I mean, you can't beat having a Legend of Zelda Special Edition one. You couldn't buy, I think in box, these are like $700, $800. In terms of emulators, I do have this SP. This is the RG34XX SP, and this has the joysticks on it, so that way I could play some sort of game emulation, play all the games that I want to play on the go. One of the issues that I did start to have with game emulating is that I just don't like it. I don't know how better, like it doesn't feel good as maybe something on console. I don't know, my brain knows that this isn't it. And the backlight is really nice, but once I got a few hours into Harvest Moon and Silent Hill, I made a mistake and it ended up corrupting the game file. So I don't have a game file anymore, and I lost my trust in this. Then of course we've got the Nintendo Switch. This one's the OG, the first. Oh wow, it still turns on. Battery's dead, but wow. Yeah, this is the first run, so the battery wasn't super strong. None of the Joy-Cons stick on this anymore. They kind of just shoot right off. This was just such a fun system to have, and I wanted the Animal Crossing one so bad I tried to mod this, but it was kind of my first attempt of a body mod, and it looks super ugly. This one I did later, so you can see I still made a couple mistakes, but we're learning. It really did serve its purpose. I held on to this since its release date all the way until the OLED came out. I know that there was a couple in between. I wasn't interested in it. This one was doing so great. I scratched it a whole bunch. I beat Mario Kart 8 on this. At the time there weren't any expansions or anything, but we beat it on here, and I think Breath of the Wild was on here as well. Then, current pride and joys is the OLED. Now the OLED is, I mean, come on. Look at how bright the screen is. I love having bright screens on all of my things. Anything I can, I will have a bright screen on. I just got this acrylic case. Maybe what I'd like to do in the future is to put a white back plate on here and then put some stickers and stuff on there. I'm working my way up to it. But yeah, don't look at my games. Leave me alone. I've been playing mad hours into this. I just realized that my play activity is gonna have a bunch of silly bobilly things on here. I know there's a lot of people that put some crazy hours on here, but just recently, I mean, it's all down to Animal Crossing, Pokemon, and Pokemon, and Pokemon, and Pokemon, and Mario Kart. Those are like my favorite games to play. So I think out of all the systems, the most I'm nostalgic for are these two, like the 3DS XL and the OLED Switch, because they carried me pretty much through the rest of my teenage years into young adulthood. Like, these were banger systems. They really knocked it out of the park. And what I'd like to see in the future is like a 3DS revival or a flip screen revival, because having something on here that could just pop up and dual screen would be incredible. It would be so cool. I feel like Nintendo will never do it because they hate us. With all the fire that they're getting over Pokemon and stuff, maybe we might get lucky. So yeah, that's my video game collection. I'm happy to share it with you. I'm glad that you stuck around this far to watch. And that's my video game collection. So that's my handheld video collection. I do have a Steam Deck somewhere. I don't know where it is. But yeah, I think I might be a little bit of a Nintendo fanboy, just a bit. But the games that they were popping out were just so fun, and seeing essentially my childhood piled up into one. So if you're interested in more video game, travel, tech related content, I'm M Fuji. Stay tuned, stay subscribed, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Hey, subscribe. Hey,
subscribe. Please.